I'm real estate broker Greg Mann, and welcome back to the GMann Show. With me today, I have a phenomenal guest, Cheryl Anderson, Director of Instruction at the Mike Bender Golf Academy here in Lake Mary.
Thanks
Cheryl,
for having me, Greg.
Welcome to the show. I don't think a lot of people understand that we've got such a top-notch coaching facility locally here, and they may or may not know that you're the Director of Instruction. So let's just talk a little bit about the academy to start with.
Sure.
What do you guys offer, and is it just for the top players, or can anyone go to the academy?
Anyone can go to the academy. We teach the ranked beginner to the top players in the world. So it's funny you say that. We are right in the middle of Central Florida, right in people's backyards, and they don't always realize this is one of the best academies in the entire world.
Yeah.
Mike Bender's been ranked in the top 5 amongst Golf Digest for like the last 10 years. So people fly in from all over the world.
So they're in from all over the world, and is it mainly juniors that are coming, or is it slightly older players, or?
You know, I would say we cater to a lot of middle-aged men.
Oh, really?
I would say that's a big demographic there.
Yeah.
They just fly in from, these are the people that fly in from around the world.
Uh-huh.
But we also have a huge junior population. So we coach some of the best juniors in the country.
I can vouch for that for sure. So let's just talk about the junior program, then we'll talk about you in a little while down the show. But so the junior program, how does that kind of work? Because I know a lot of people think tennis, golf, expensive.
Yes.
How do we get into it?
Yeah, it can be expensive when you get to a certain level, of course, like any other sport, right? Figure skating, horseback riding, those are pricey. But you can manage your expenses by helping your child to become a good golfer. So we have several different levels at the academy. We start with US Kids, which is a great program to introduce kids at a very low price. We also have the LPGA Girls Golf Program, very introductory program for girls to get into the game. And then we kind of blend them up into young guns, junior champions, and then we have an elite program, which is like a mini IMG academy, where we have 20 full-time students. They fly in from all over the world, and they're here for the entire golf year. So they either do virtual school or they go to the local schools in Lake Mary.
Oh, that's awesome. So they get enough time to do the normal education, then enjoy all the practice and the tuition that you give. So when you have a new student join, let's just say middle of the road sort of student, and their ambition is to get to college golf.
Yes.
How do you kind of develop that player?
Well, you can either do private lessons, right? Some people are better off at just private lessons, but we have the group options like Young Guns and Junior Champions, which keeps the pricing down, puts them in a little more of a group environment. So some kids like being around other kids and, you know, competing together. So we offer those 2 options. So every kid is unique, so you just kind of figure out what they are going to do best at.
Yeah, exactly. Now, I know that Mike actually does, and I'm not sure if you do as well, but I know Mike actually has some of the top pros come to his academy, so that's kind of exciting when they turn up. I know that my daughter Ainsley was at your academy, and Zach Johnson brought the British Open trophy across one time, which was
back
fantastic.
From your homeland.
Yeah. So do you get a lot of these pros come in and interact with the children at all?
To be honest, they don't come in that often. Like Zach Johnson will stop by like twice a year.
Yeah.
Mike mostly goes on the road with them.
Okay.
So he travels quite a bit with the tour pros. But when they do come, it's like a big deal. All of a sudden there's like 100 kids at the academy, right?
Yeah.
They text each other, Zach's here.
So with your coaching, what part of the coaching do you enjoy the most?
Oh, I love developing people, like developing their talents, figuring out, you know, where the weak links are, where the strengths are, and just try to get them a little better each year. My goal is, let's get 1% better each day, right?
Yeah.
So how do we customize a plan that will help you to improve?
So I know you've said this many times when I've been at the academy.
Can I say one more thing?
Absolutely.
Like a program like Young Guns, I just got an exceptionally nice letter last week from, you know, sometimes you don't know if you're doing anything special, but this parent reached out and he wanted to make sure I got this note that it completely transformed his son's life because he was about to get out of golf and he tried this program and it reignited him. So, you know, sometimes you do that for kids, sometimes you don't, but it's it's very rewarding when that happens.
Well, golf's such a lonely sport, and I know that has an effect on a lot of people. You have to have a kind of a mindset that you're okay being alone sometimes because you're at the range a lot, you're practicing on your own a lot. I know Ainsley, my daughter, liked that group environment that you had because it was a little bit more social. Do you find the boys kind of can see the program through, or the girls see the program through better? Is there a...
It's a good question. We do a lot of mental golf profiling now.
Yeah.
So you have your introverts, your extroverts. So we try to keep them together. The introverts tend to be a little more quiet, and like to practice with people they know. The extroverts just like to talk a lot. So you kind of learn to put them in their own pods. And then you have those very conscientious nature type kids. They can do a drill all day long. And then you have kids that get totally bored with drills. So you got to create fun games for them.
Yeah.
So it's very important to understand their mental makeup.
Yeah, that's actually, I think in life in general, that's a good thing. Because I know with my business, when I have new agents come in, it's very different for every single person. There's the go-getting guy, there's the guy that can do it on his own, there's the person that needs you to lead them through every step. So recognizing that is a big thing. And I know you guys have a great mental approach program.
Yeah.
You have a great workout program. So it's just not all golf. It's everything that's related to golf, but it's just not out there grinding on the range. I know you have some really cool equipment too that helps people. Can you just explain? Because I see those contraptions and I'm sure people think, what is that?
Well, I can't take credit for those. Mike Bender he should have been an engineer. If he wasn't a golf pro, he would have been an engineer. He loves inventing and building things.
Yeah.
So I think what you're talking about are the Megsa units,
yes,
perhaps?
Absolutely.
Most efficient golf swing attainable. But Mike was a touring pro. He played on the PGA Tour for 3 years, and he was frustrated with his swing and that he couldn't get it the way he wanted. And he would take his lessons, and he'd go back to his coach, and it looked the same. He's like, what in the world? So he created this unique, lots of hunks of metal, right?
Uh-huh.
And it took him 13 years to create in his garage.
Wow.
But we use them all the time. It's one of the reasons I moved down here, because this kind of equipment I didn't have up in New York where I worked.
Yeah.
And for me to be able to put my student in that Megsa unit and know that they're going to train properly is huge. And that keeps the expense down, right? So they're just going to pay for a practice pass to use that rather than an hour lesson with me.
Yeah, so they can go up there, use that. Once they've learned how to use the equipment and set it up for themselves, they can go and use it on a regular basis and just really tune that swing in, I guess.
Exactly. It's like Nautilus equipment. And what's nice, too, is, you got to spend time practicing your technique, but then you have to have time practicing skill, too, right?
Absolutely.
So then we have lots of different things around the academy. Like most ranges are very flat.
Yes.
They are. So Mike built an uneven lie station, right?
Yeah.
Most ranges don't have rough on them, so we have a patch of rough. We have a Sevi range where the great Sevi Ballesteros was very creative, so we carved out this area on the left side of the academy where people can create all these trick shots.
Oh, cool.
And then we have zone work on the range, and we have kids do ball striking tests, hitting draws and fades into the zones.
Yeah.
So technique is important, but we got to train skills and creating different shots. And then we provide an environment that's competitive too. So the kids are competing against each other. The adults don't get into that too much, right? This is more for the full-time kids. But yeah, you got to go through all three of those areas to get really good at golf.
Now, another thing that Mike invented was the wedge range, which if you just can explain that, because I think that's a really brilliant piece of it.
He came up with that out of necessity because Zach Johnson was not a very good wedge player. He would struggle with distance control and direction. So Mike created these blocks. They're 4x4 cement slabs on the range, and they have a slight incline to them so that when you hit the block, the ball just bounces up. It's kind of fun.
Yeah.
And so he positioned them all different areas. So you always had to change your alignment, which was important too. So then a few years back, he added some ropes up there, so trajectory ropes, because there's a certain launch angle that's been proven to be the most effective. So you want to keep it below a 30-degree launch angle. And so now the player can launch it through the ropes and try to hit the blocks. So anyhow, the first time Zach tried this, it took him 168 shots to hit all 8 blocks on the range.
Oh, wow.
And the year that he won the Masters in '07, he hit all 8 blocks and 8 shots. And I'm sorry, 50 shots, 50 shots. Now, having said that, we have a wedge range record on there. And it's amazing how powerful that is because people really want to get on that wedge range record board.
I'm sure they do, yeah.
And so we had a boy who did it in 24
No
shots.
way. Oh, that's phenomenal.
Playing out at Cal Berkeley now, so that is phenomenal. That's 3 balls per block.
That's absolutely amazing. That's just blown my mind because that's a difficult thing to do, isn't it?
Right, you get to that 100-yard block knowing you got to hit it. That's a long way out there, hitting this little tiny block.
It really is.
So.
Well, I'll tell you what, we're going to take a short break. When we get back, I want to get into your career, where you've come from and things you've achieved in your golfing career. So this is Greg Mann. Thanks for watching. We'll be right back in a few minutes.
Managing your investment property is as easy as 1, 2, 3. 1. Sign up at GoRent123.com. 2. Let Greater Orlando Realty handle everything for you when it comes to managing your property. From qualifying tenants to collecting rent, processing maintenance requests, and everything in between. 3. Sit back, relax, and count all that money you're making. Earning passive income on your property is as easy as 1, 2, 3 with Greater Orlando Realty. Visit GoRent123.com today.
Hey, welcome back to the G-Mann Show. Here with Laura Collins from First International Title. Laura, tell me what you do, tell me how you do it, and tell me how people get hold of you.
Thank you. I am Laura Collins with First International Title. My phone number is 314-265-9000. And I always appreciate a text to get to know me. I am one of the sales reps for the downtown office of First International Title. We do have 37 offices, and I represent our downtown office and Waterford Lakes office. One of the things about me with my clients are realtors and loan officers mostly, and anybody that's selling their house, they get to choose their title company. And so that's why a lot of people depend on their realtors to choose their title company, and that's why they're my clients. I have worked at Disney for 20 years, and anybody that works with me is going to have that kind of customer service that Disney has instilled in me. I love to help, I love to be available, and I want to make sure that they are growing their business, and it is about them.
So you'll do open houses, you'll go to offices, you'll help agents build their business, all with a cheerful smile. How do people get hold of you?
You can, again, get a hold of me, 314-265-9000.
I'm real estate broker Greg Mann, and welcome back to the G-Mann Show. Back with Cheryl Anderson from the Mike Bender Academy. Welcome back, Cheryl.
Thank you, Greg.
We've talked about the Academy, we've talked about Lake Mary, we've talked about the kind of players that come to the Academy. Let's talk about you. First of all, you're not just a golf coach, you've been a successful player, you're an author, you're a mother. How'd you do all these things?
I don't know. Thank God I have energy because it is a lot.
So how did you start out in golf?
I'd always hit golf balls growing up, but I never really played until high school because I had a crush on a boy on the golf team. And I tried out for the team and I missed by 1 shot. And I couldn't believe how disappointed I was to actually miss playing on the team.
Yeah.
And then a great coach from the school, he ran up to me one day and said, Cheryl, you got to go play in this all-girls tournament. It's a state championship for Connecticut. I'm like, I was so excited.
Yeah.
And I went and played and I finished second.
Oh, awesome.
And then all of a sudden I'm going to Rutgers University playing golf there.
Amazing, amazing.
That was kind of wild.
Yeah, yeah. Now, you've won quite a few things too. I mean, you're a top 50 coach. You've been ranked in the top 100 for Golf Magazine, I think. For
Golf Magazine, and I'm in the top 50 for Golf Digest too.
Yeah, that's amazing.
It is.
Your golf career. Did you have a long career, a short career? Was it mainly college golf?
When I graduated from college, I actually took a summer job at a private club because I qualified for the USAM and the Pub Links, and I figured, well, if I practice at this private club, my skills will get better.
Yeah.
And I fell into like a dream world because the head pro there, he really inspired me. And I was like, I want to be like him.
Oh, awesome.
This is fun. I want to be a golf professional. So I ended up becoming a golf professional. And then like 3 years later, I ended up working for a master pro, Gene Bork. And he just taught me to be a teacher and a player. And I started playing really well, and during that time I met Mike Bender, and he helped me to hone my skills and work on my game, and I became the 5-time Player of the Year in the Metropolitan section, which is the toughest section in the country.
So that's a big achievement, isn't it?
And I played in 6 LPGA Tour events, qualified as a club pro, which is hard to do.
Yeah.
And, so I loved playing the game, but in a way I did it so that I could become a better coach, because I actually hated when my students would beat me. I couldn't stand that, and I never wanted that to happen again.
Well, that's actually great motivation, actually, because I'm a little bit like that with my agents. I want to beat them, even though I want to support them.
Friendly competition.
So fast forwarding, you've just played in the Senior US Women's Open, and you did pretty good recently, didn't you?
Yeah.
So tell us about that experience and where you finished up.
Well, it's funny because I hadn't played golf in a while, to be honest. I have a daughter. She's 17 now.
Oh,
she has Down syndrome, so I spent a lot of time, I needed to spend a lot of time with her, and I just kind of let my game go. And then the USGA came out with this tournament 4 years ago, the US Senior Women's Open, and I love to compete, so I was like ignited. And the big thing was it was going to be in my hometown.
Oh, amazing.
Up in Connecticut, Brooklawn Country Club. So I got ready, and I went there, and it was just a magical week. My husband caddied for me. My friends came out from high school, and I finished 17th.
That's
so
amazing.
That helped me to be exempt for this past year in Ohio. So I played in that as well. This year I have to qualify.
Yeah.
So
now I think the rumor has it. Did you get the most amount of birdies along with the champions? So that's a pretty cool little record. So tell us about that.
Oh yeah, I made 16 birdies in that Senior Open at Brooklawn. So my putter was working really well, and it's funny, this year at NCR Club in Ohio, I was injured. I could barely hit the ball, but I got up and down from everywhere. I think I hit like 3 greens in round 1, but I made 16 pars in a row.
Wow.
So you got to have a good short game.
Yeah. I mean, even when I go out and play, honestly, if you miss the green and you chip on in one pot, this is golden.
It is. It's kind of fun, right?
It really is,
Keeps the momentum going. If you don't make that, you're like, when's the round over?
Can I quit at 9?
Right.
You're also an author.
Yeah.
So tell us about your latest book, because you've had several, I believe.
Well, only one book, Teach Yourself Visually Golf, and it's actually from 2006, but it's still a great book for the newer golfer. It's got lots of pictures and good explanations.
And sometimes those pictures really help people, because it's very difficult to visualize a golf swing, isn't it?
It is. It's very difficult to explain a golf swing too, right? It's this arc.
Yeah.
Right? On a plane, and people are like, what's a plane, right? So the pictures go a long way. The visuals are big for people.
Yeah, because not only you got that arc, but you got that thing called the club that changes position in your hands and doesn't always get where it needs to be, and a tiny little off here is so much down the fairway.
There's a lot of, golf is hard because you have 14 clubs, right? In basketball, you have 1 ball and 1 net that's inside a stadium. It looks the same all the time, right?
Yeah.
It's always 10 feet high.
Yeah.
Football stadiums, you have 1 football. Tennis, you have 1 racket. But golf, heck, we have 14 clubs. Then you put us outside and all the elements and on uneven lies and everything. It's a hard game.
18 different holes, pretty much there's like 18 different, basketball courts.
Throw in some bunkers and some water hazards, and you wonder why people want to throw their clubs, right?
It's an amazing game. Last couple of things I want to talk about really quickly. There's a huge change in the industry, in the PGA, LIV. How do you see the future of the game?
I don't see the LIV hanging in there, to be honest.
Really?
I think they're really hedging their bets on trying to make these 4-man teams sellable. They want to sell these teams.
Yeah.
I just don't see that much excitement about people wanting to buy these teams.
Got ya.
I've never even watched a Live Tour event. Have you?
No, I haven't actually, no.
Haven't been that excited, so.
No. I can see from a player's point of view that I can go there and make millions of dollars.
Yeah.
And that's kind of cool if I'm at the end of my career, but so that's interesting. So I want to thank you so much for being on the show. We've only touched on a few things. Hopefully you can come back and we can do a backup show. Again, thanks very much, Cheryl.
Thank you, Greg.
I'm Greg Mann. Thanks for watching the GMann Show. We will be right back.
Managing your investment property is as easy as 1, 2, 3. 1. Sign up at GoRent123.com. 2. Let Greater Orlando Realty handle everything for you when it comes to managing your property. From qualifying tenants to collecting rent, processing maintenance requests, and everything in between. 3. Sit back, relax, and count all that money you're making. Earning passive income on your property is as easy as 1, 2, 3 with Greater Orlando Realty. Visit GoRent123.com today.
I'm real estate broker Greg Mann, and welcome back to the GMann Show, here with Sonia Hishami for the Mortgage Minute. Sonia, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
Hometown heroes. I'm hearing a lot about it. I'm hearing a lot of buzz in the streets. I don't know that much about it. What is it?
So Hometown Heroes is a great option for some of our homeowners to have the ability to become a homeowner. To people who are be on the front line giving us service, like doctors and veterans. And so they have the ability to buy a home with the help of the state of Florida with up to $25,000 down payment, which can go to down payment and closing costs actually, which is a little bit different. A lot of times you get just a down payment part, but now it goes up to $25,000 and includes the closing costs as well.
So the state of Florida's assisting with the $25,000?
Up to $25,000.
Well, that's a really good step up for anybody, isn't it? So how do they qualify for that?
Yes. So the way to qualify for that, right now there are some changes coming up, which I would love to go over with you in a little bit later. But to get it started, if there's a large list of people that work in specific industries that qualify, such as teachers, such as doctors, and anybody in the medical industry. In the medical industry, they have to be licensed. There are some details that we have to go over to make sure they're qualified, but right now it's job-based. And so we have to go through to make sure there's some income limits, but the income is very high. Yeah. So it's not strict like it was before. It is a loan. It is a loan of $25,000 that has to be paid, or up to $25,000 that has to be paid back when the home is refinanced or sold, or if title changes. But it's a great way to be able to become a homeowner with some assistance that if you don't have enough funds.
It's an interesting point about the $25,000 being repaid. So can that be repaid at the end of the 30-year term?
So if you're in the home for 30 years, I have not had that question asked before, but I'm assuming it'll be forgiven. At this moment, as long as you're in the home, my understanding is if you refinance it or sell the home or change ownership of the home, then it has to be paid back. At the end of the loan, I would hope you'll be forgiven. I would have to find out.
So if somebody wants to get with you and get on that program, how do they do that?
They can call me. I'm an approved lender on that option. Not everybody can do it. You have to apply and get approved. And so my phone number is 407-403-8658, or they can go to my website, which is loanswithsonia.com.
Hey, thanks, Sonia, for being on the show. I'm Greg Mann. We'll be right back. Thanks for watching.